Okay, we're going live. We got 5 minutes until the actual video is supposed to start. Hopefully, this is all working well on your end. And I'm trying to get verification. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. Again, we're just getting everything up and running, and hopefully it's running properly. I've got a second computer loaded up here that hopefully, but I don't have much faith in Facebook tonight. My Facebook's acting really, really weird this evening. Yeah, it's not. My second computer doesn't tell me that I have a Facebook Live presentation going. Oh, there it goes. Actually, Spinistry is live now. Let me see if I can get on that. And Facebook Live. Okay, I can see the screen on the second computer. And again, we're just warming up here, getting things in place for 8:30 kickoff. If you're coming on later, you're probably going to have about 4 or 5 minutes of me walking through this until we start the official 8:30. Comment from David Renninger. Hello. David, can you confirm on that comment section whether or not I have good audio? Thumbs up from Peter. I'm assuming we have good audio then. Hopefully I'm able to see the live comments. If not, still, especially if you come on late and maybe you start at the beginning of the broadcast and we're actually 15 minutes into it or something like that, feel free to go ahead and send an email to spinistry@gmail.com. I'll be getting those real time. Even though you might get the answer 15 minutes after you send it or something like that. Or you can still send the emails or make comments on the video after the live cast is done, and I'll reply to comments throughout the next couple of days. Clock says we're about 2 minutes away from getting started here. And I'm not seeing any comments updating on the second computer here. So I'm going to go on the assumption. Heart eyes from Shannon. Thank you, sir. Always good to see you as well. I'm going on the assumption these comments are going to be well behind what I'm saying. So I'm not going to pay attention to the comments in Facebook Live. Please do, if you have questions along the way, or if I say anything that needs some elaboration, send an email to spinistry@gmail.com. And computer 2 is telling me to update virus protection, even though I did all my updates earlier today to stay away from all this stuff. You gotta love it when a plan comes together. All right, we're going to go ahead and start maybe 30 or 45 seconds early here. Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Spinistry TV on Facebook Live. I know I've said in the past I wasn't going to be doing any more Facebook Live presentations, but I just plain ran out of time to record and then edit and then upload things. We got a bunch of things in the works for new stuff coming down the pike. Y'all probably saw some of my pictures and videos from yesterday. That's some stuff around Glen Rose. It's going to be really neat next year. And we're taking off on Saturday to go to Colorado. And we have got some really primo stuff mapped out and previewed up there that I want to confirm some routes for a pretty big deal, hopefully about this time of year next year in Colorado, towards the end of August 2019. We'll share some details on that next week as we scout things and hopefully have something that wows everybody. But tonight we are talking about the Rat 1000 specifically, and what we're going to concentrate on tonight are the segments and the stage race beginning and endpoints. Now, the segments don't just apply to stage racers. They also apply to the semi-supported RAT 1000 riders that aren't necessarily doing the stage race, but they are tagging along in the same segments where we carry their gear for them and things like that. So this is not just a meeting to go over details specifically for the stage race. We will go over those details, but these segments also apply to semi-supported riders. So please, if you do have questions, I'm not able to see all of them in the comments on Facebook Live. It's easiest if you go ahead and email any questions you do have during the presentation to spinistry@gmail.com. And I will try to, if they come in on my email while we're doing the live cast, I'll try to address them then. If not, I will add them to the comments for the archive video that should be up within a few minutes of us completing the live cast presentation. So what we're going to start really basic here. The plan is just to start from the start point and just give a quick synopsis of what we have lined up for these segments so far. We're about 85 or 90% complete. And I'm pretty confident in everything that we have in place. As far as the cities that we want to stop at, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to finalize the pieces that aren't quite finalized yet. So the cities that we're talking about and the mileages are pretty close to accurate. Just a couple of stops that we just need to verify actual accommodations with. So to start off with, want to make it clear, the stage racers and the semi-supported racers, the expectation is that you will start in Texarkana, Arkansas, zoom in here, on Friday on your own schedule. This is an untimed stage from Texarkana to New Boston, Texas, of about 43 miles. So whenever you get into Texarkana on Friday, you just go ahead and you start in the downtown area. It's right at the courthouse/post office. It's called Photograph Island. There happens to be a bike shop near there as well, Barrage Bikes. But this is Photograph Island, kind of hard to miss. And do a street view here, if it lets me. It may not let me. That may be too much for a live cast. There we go. And this is kind of it's the state line of Arkansas and Texas right there, right at the courthouse steps. That's the official start point on Friday at your own convenience. It's right next to Barrage Bikes, is a couple blocks away. And if you're coming in from Amtrak, that's just a couple blocks away as well. Go back to the map view here. See if right down here, just straight down State Line Avenue, that's where the railroad station is. And Barrage Bikes is just over here somewhere as well. So it's all real close to there. So that's the official start point. Again, this is an untimed segment, but to get the 1,000 miles for the RAT 1000, you start there. Up here is kind of Hotel Row, Comfort Suites, Hampton Inn, Holiday Inn Express. I think there's a Best Western there too, and several others that are in the area. This is where the RAT has traditionally started on Saturday morning. And for anyone that's doing the 100% self-supported RAT 1000, you guys are allowed at your choosing to also start from there and shave 3.5 or 4 miles off of the route. Just that only applies for the group departure on Saturday morning. If everybody wants to rally at Hotel Row for a group departure, that's fine. If y'all prefer to start at State Line, you're welcome to do that as well. We'll get those details sorted out in another live cast that's aimed specifically at the self-supported riders. And so this segment's pretty easy. This is Friday. You're doing this on Friday, 43 miles into New Boston, okay? So Friday night, we have group accommodations for camping for all riders. This includes the stage racers, self-supported riders, semi-supported riders, mini rat, probably not tiny rat. We haven't decided what the tiny rat route will be, but most likely it'll be a Farmersville to Paris, Farmersville thing again. We'll have a tiny rat and mini rat live cast within the next week or two. And to go, we'll nail down those details at that time. But let me give you the quick overview. So this is New Boston on Friday night. This is where we all stay. These are our camping facilities for Friday night. This is actually the Northeast Texas Trailhead, TMP Trail. So this is a pavilion area, restrooms, plenty of parking. Actually, I believe these are RV with electrical hookups, or somewhere in here are RV spots with electrical hookups as well. It might be there. Let's see what Street View shows us here. See, there's the big pavilion. That's ours for Friday night. Looks like there's a hotel right there as well. Maybe that's apartments. Parking area. Restrooms. I think there's showers in that. I'll verify that within the next week or two. But obviously plenty of camping space for us in here. And it is covered in case of inclement weather as well. And I believe there's a museum and stuff like that down here as well. So it's a neat little park area right in the heart of downtown New Boston, right at the end of the Northeast Texas Trail. So that's where we stay Friday night after 43 miles from Texarkana. And there are hotels in New Boston as well. If you don't want to camp, you're not required to camp by any means, but our start on Saturday morning will be from that TMP Trailhead. Up here, there's a Holiday Inn Express, Tex Inn Motel, and I think there's a couple others. Walmart, all the fast food places, everything like that. All right, so then Saturday morning, we take off from New Boston, group departure, stage race begins. Semi-supported folks, you'll all follow the route through all these other towns that we have their amenities outlined, but we're not going to go into the detail on those. We're just talking about the segment ends and beginnings tonight. So Saturday ends in Paris. And this is brought to you by Lamar County Chamber of Concepts and Concepts sr22.com. And I just want to let you know that forgot to mention that the New Boston stop is sponsored by Tommy's High Tech Auto as well as Redshift Sports and their shock stop stems. It's because of the sponsors that we have these group accommodations available, so y'all be sure to thank them. It is really important what the sponsors are doing for us here. So both Friday and Saturday night, these are group accommodations that are available to all riders as long as you're on this same schedule. These accommodations are just for these nights, though, so you have to be on the stage segment schedule to be able to get these complimentary accommodations. We do have the Red River Valley Fairgrounds, like we've had in the past couple years. Give you a quick overview of what we have available to us here. This is a big expo barn. We used this 2 years ago. Plenty of covered space here. There are RV hookups out front here and back here. So there's electrical and water hookups there. We also have this main office building this is what we used last year. And most everyone actually slept indoors because we had rain that night and we slept indoors. And this is where the food service was. There's actually a washer and dryer in here as well. And this building over here, that's where the showers are. Let's see if I can, right over here. Right in between the shed and the building, that's the walkway. There's men's and women's showers right in here. Our group accommodations are back down this way. That's the big expo hall. Does it let us go down here? Yep. And this is our fair office building that we used last year. There's even a pavilion amphitheater there, gazebo pavilion area. So plenty of space for everybody to spread out. and plenty of parking if support crews want to join us and things like that as well. So that is Saturday night in Paris. Again, Paris is a pretty good sized town. So if you don't want to camp with us, there are plenty of hotels there. But just do be aware you want to join us for the party in Paris. That's a pretty important part of the rat. Randy Freeman and conceptssr22.com do a really good job of taking care of everyone that night and feeding us all and getting us plenty of good comfort food and cool drinks. And there's a good chance you might be able to find a cold beer that night as well if needed. So that is Paris on Saturday night. From New Boston to Paris is 106 miles. So not too bad of a day. All right, so Sunday morning, we all get up in Paris and have a mass start for the stage racers. And the start will be from the fairgrounds on Saturday morning. We'll go over the timings for all the starts as we get closer to event date. Right now, we're just giving you guys the big picture view. And from Paris on Sunday, we go to Denison, Texas, via Oklahoma. And while this is not finalized exactly, I'm 99% confident in this. The tent campers will be camping here at Eisenhower State Park. It's just a couple miles from the route itself. So if you are tent camping and you are a stage racer or part of the semi-supported group, we will provide you camping spots here at Eisenhower State Park. Most likely. Like I said, about 99% sure that's the case. There are some other campgrounds up here in Oklahoma, Burns Run, east and west. We really want the extra miles, even though it's just a few extra miles to get over on the Texas side. But also, I believe season ends for both of the Burns Run campgrounds prior to RAT. I think they're closed, but it's really a non-issue. I think Eisenhower is a better camping spot for us. Most likely, this is to be finalized, but this is a guess at the moment. I'll give you all the satellite imagery of this. Most likely what we'll do is as you cross Texoma Dam, and this comes up the dam bank here, you'll double back towards this parking lot. Most likely this is where we'll have stage end that evening, Sunday evening. And tent campers, we can chip time you there, get your stage time, and then you just pedal on over here to Eisenhower State Park. If you're doing a hotel or a motel, just a couple miles into Denison, and there's some hotels and motels here, or you can meet support crew at the parking lot here. And then most likely, again, this level of detail we'll sort out closer to event date. Most likely what we'll do is we'll start the stage the next morning, Monday morning, from the gate entrance at Eisenhower State Park. That's where everyone will rally to start the next day. So if you're not staying in Eisenhower State Park, you won't have to pay to go in the park or anything like that. We'll do it from just outside the gate, most likely. Again, as we get closer to actual event date, we'll finalize that level of detail. So for that day, from Paris to Denison is 122 miles. So we're starting to up the mileage a little bit on that one. And bear with me, let me just check. I'm not seeing any emails or anything. Again, if I'm missing anything important along the way here, feel free to send me an email at spinistry@gmail.com. I will check my emails here and there throughout the presentation if I miss something critical. So 122 miles, Paris to Denison. And that's staying over Sunday night in Denison. So then Monday morning, we'll get up, start from Eisenhower State Park or Texoma Spillway, somewhere around there. And from there, the next day we go, and this is one of the longer days, maybe the longest. We'll see how it sorts out. Working from memory here. We'll be going to Henrietta for Monday night. And this one is brought to you by Insurance for Texans and the Clay County Chamber of Commerce. So in Denison, the camping and tent facility was only for semi-supported and stage racers. Since we do have Insurance for Texans sponsorship and Chamber of Commerce sponsorship in Henrietta, we do have free tent camping for all participants in Henrietta on Monday night. So if you are self-supported but you are following our segment schedule, tent camping is available in Henrietta. That said, here's the caveat on tent camping in Henrietta. Best Western Henrietta is kind of that's an unofficial regular pit stop for the Rat. The Best Western in Henrietta has taken really good care of us since year one when we got caught up in the monsoon, and basically everyone that wasn't already past Henrietta when the rains hit just had to hole up at the Best Western when it really wasn't anyone's plan to. But from that point forward, most of the Rat riders make a point to try to stay at that Best Western in Henrietta. They really bend over backwards and take fantastic care of us. And don't get me wrong, if you're on a budget, I get it. We do have camping options that are available. Couple of different ones. If you have support crew with the RV, they're here at the City Park, Hapgood Park. There are RV spots here, right up here where I have that camping logo. And that's right on the route right there, and it's really close to the Best Western and the pecan shed there. The city does not allow tent camping there. So that was one of our holdups, why it took us a little bit longer to get the meeting going. We wanted to find some tent camping options in Henrietta, and Insurance for Texans and the Chamber of Commerce came through with us on that. So if you have support crew and an RV, you can stay there on your own dime. That's not covered. If you're tent camping, though, this is free. There's a cowboy church just down the frontage road. I know it looks like it's a long way, but I think it's only like a mile and a half or so. So free tent camping for all riders, not just the stage racers or supporter riders. Anyone that's on that Monday schedule with us is welcome to tent camp at the Cowboy Church. But our finish and start will most likely be from the Best Western. So, but we'll talk about how to get everyone's gear to them and how we'll do that as we get closer to event day. And we know who might be camping and who might not, and we'll figure out that level of detail closer in. So that is a 139-mile day, again, from Denison to Henrietta, overnighting in Henrietta Monday night. Bear with me a second. I think I just had an email come through. Let me check that, make sure it wasn't anything important. Okay. That is totally off topic, so it does not apply. All right, so Tuesday morning, we'll leave from Henrietta, go around Lake Arrowhead, and anyone that's self-supported and doing their own schedule, there's Lake Arrowhead State Park. If you make it past Henrietta but need somewhere to stay, that's right on the route, Lake Arrowhead State Park, but that's not a stage segment. So from Henrietta on Tuesday, we go to Vernon, and thanks to our sponsorship from Mad Duck Cyclery in Vernon, we also have free camping for all in Vernon as well. So if you are tent camping on the Rat 1000 and you are on our segment schedule, Tuesday night in Vernon, free camping with access to electricity and water. It's the City Park in Vernon. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. And I'm actually going to be driving by and checking this out a little bit more in detail on either Saturday or next week when we come back from Colorado. But it's Green Park. Looks like a nice little park. Picnic tables, covered areas. water, electricity, and decent looking restrooms from what I could tell. Probably no shower facilities though. But by that point of the rat, who needs a shower? Just pedaling all day, every day. All right. So that is Tuesday night in Vernon. There are multiple hotels and motels in the immediate area. There's Budget Host Inn. I stayed there last year. It's a $45 a night motel, and it looks like it. Now, here is one thing I do want to bring up. If you get a chance, and maybe anyway, Duncan Smokehouse in Vernon. These guys did me a solid last year, so we want to give them some love this year. When you're in Vernon, bring a $20 bill with you. They don't take cards, but when I was pedaling the rat, I didn't realize that, so I didn't have any cash with me. I went to Duncan Smokehouse, rolled in about 45 minutes before they closed. That was, just over 500 miles into the rat. I was pretty beat that day, but the thing that kept me going was I was going to get me some barbecue. And Duncan's has good barbecue, but they don't accept credit cards. I had no cash. They comped my meal for me and even comped a dessert. They treated me well, and they have darn good food. Fantastic cobbler, just to let you know. So if you get a chance and you're hungry, and you're there during their regular hours, Duncan Smokehouse is a good place to go, and who knows, maybe we'll arrange some sort of group meal or something like that night. But every hotel, there's Hampton Inn and Holiday Inn Express and all of those in Vernon as well. Super Walmart. Vernon's about as big a town as we've got along the way. So that's the overnight in Vernon. From Henrietta to Vernon, that's a 125-mile day. Again, tent camping complimentary for all riders thanks to Mad Duck Cyclery. And that was Tuesday night. We overnight in Vernon. So Wednesday, we'll start from Vernon, and then we overnight Wednesday night in Childress. This is one that is in flux at the moment. We know we'll be in Childress or close proximity thereof. It's just not finalized yet. Our most likely scenario for camping will be at Fair Park in Childress, but that is not finalized yet. This is our most likely scenario, but if that falls through, there is a backup. There are a couple of backups actually. Over here at Baylor Lake, there are 2 different campgrounds here. I haven't checked those out yet. That's a plan B or C there, and somewhere around here there's a motocross park somewhere in there. Anyway, and the city manager in Childress has said that we can use Fair Park. We just have to narrow down if there are enough facilities for us that are likely to be available that day. That's part of my trip to Colorado and back. I go check that out in person. If for some reason that doesn't come through, we have other alternatives. But I'm pretty confident we'll be doing Fair Park. Again, in Childress, there's plenty of hotels and motels and restaurants and everything there. Another big Walmart as well. So Wednesday night, and I apologize. Does it have it? Oh, there it is. Yep. Kind of a short day, but not really. That stretch from Vernon to Childress can be a little sandy if it's been dry. Not as bad as some other spots, but it's only 103 miles, so it's not a 140-mile day by any means. But it's not going to be the easiest day. So it's probably 103 miles. It probably feels more like 120 or 125, most likely. So we overnight in Childress Wednesday night. And this right now, we don't have a sponsor for Childress yet. We'll work on it. Hopefully we do get one. But right now, Childress would be, as we speak tonight, just a tent camping is provided only for stage racers and supported riders at this point. From Childress, On Wednesday night, leave Thursday morning. This is when we go through Esteline, hit our Red Road section down to Turkey, and then we will overnight Turkey here, Red Road's there. We will overnight in Silverton, and this is Thursday night. That's a 101 mile day, but that's going to be a 101 mile day that feels like 150. So don't count it as a short day, even though the mileage is short. It is the Red Road section and the Caprock Canyon section. So there's a good bit of climbing that day, and there is some technical stuff, obviously dependent upon weather and other factors. We will be staying right now at the Silverwind RV Park and cabins at the moment, and they are going to allow tent camping, so tent camping is provided. At the moment, all the cabins are booked. There are plenty of RV spots. I have 3 of the cabins booked, and there is one more that is not me. It may be another rat rider that has the 4th. I don't know at this point. If you are wanting a cabin, reach out to me on that one. It'll be a first come, first serve, or I should say a cabin or a bed. So I have 3 cabins reserved, and there's at least 2 beds in each cabin, I believe. One may be a honeymoon suite that maybe we'll give to the honeymooners. We'll see how that sorts out there. But anyway, if you need a bed in Silverton and don't want to camp on the ground, reach out to me quickly on that. We do have plenty of tent camping. I don't believe there are any hotels or anything like that in Silverton. There's not much in Silverton. So bring your own RV, have support crew with an RV, or plan to tent camp that night unless you quickly get in touch with me to reserve a bed. And that, again, is Thursday night, Silverton, 101 miles from Childress to Silverton. And then Friday morning, we depart Silverton from there. And all of these camping spots and towns in between the segments, I'll bring this point up now before I forget. If you're not planning to follow the segments, but you're watching the video and listening, and you plan to do self-supported but on your own schedule, if you have other towns that we're not mentioning for the segment ends tonight, please get in touch with me. If there's a certain town that your schedule tells you you're likely to be staying in on certain nights, let me know, and I'll try to make arrangements in the in-between towns as well. Right now, we're just concentrating on the segments, and I'm happy to reach out to the other towns in between on an as-needed basis. I'm not gonna hit up every town along the route to make camping plans unless I know people are likely to be there. We've kind of done that the past couple years, and I've jumped through hoops to make accommodations available in every town, and nobody ends up staying at those accommodations. So I'm happy to make arrangements for y'all. I'd like to coordinate that so everyone's on the same page. So if you have your own schedule that you want to follow, just let me know, and I'll chase down any other towns that need chasing down. Obviously, our priority was to get the segments nailed down. Okay, so Friday morning, we leave Silverton to overnight in Vega on Friday night. And Vega is brought to you by, again, Tommy's High Tech Auto Repair and the Oldham County Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to them, we finally got our pieces put together in Vega. This one was really important. We needed this because you got to be able to get to Tucumcari, and there's not a whole lot. So in Vega, our tent camping is going to be provided by the First Baptist Church in Vega. Tent camping facilities will be there, but there's also a really nice, almost brand new Days Inn hotel. It's not a motel. I'll show you this. The First Baptist Church is just like a block and a half or 2 blocks away from here. So you can You can sleep indoors at the First Baptist Church if needed. If you're a tent camper, you can be protected from the elements if we're having bad weather. They're most likely going to be helping out with meals and stuff like that as well, snacks at least, and cold drinks. Obviously, we won't be dropping a keg at the First Baptist Church of Vega. No shower facilities there, but what I will be doing, at least in Vega and maybe in other towns, might do this in Vernon as well. I'll probably get a hotel room at the Days Inn here, and anybody that's tent camping is welcome to use the shower in my room up until 11 p.m. or so, because I got to get my beauty sleep. But since this is sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce and Tommy's High Tech, Vega at the First Baptist Church on Friday night only, you have to be on the same schedule as us. Camping at the First Baptist Church in Vega is complimentary for all riders, not just the supported riders or the stage racers. So that was the final piece that we needed to make sure our segments were working out the way we wanted to. There's other accommodations in Vega as well. There is an RV park over here. They weren't really accommodating for tent campers, so that was part of what we were scrambling with. There's another hotel or motel over here. And this is old Route 66. In Vega, there are a couple of those old Route 66 historic type motels as well if you want to stay in something like that. I can personally recommend Rooster's Roadhouse for a meal that night. Been there a couple times. Rooster's is good food, good drink. I mean, what's not to like about a place like that? Isn't that? That's a Kevin place if ever I saw one. So Rooster's is good. I've heard good things about this Hickory Inn Cafe. There is an Allsup's in town as well, right there. So Vega's a great overnight for Friday night. And that is a 122-mile day from Silverton to Vega. And then Saturday, from Vega, we finish up in Tucumcari. And right now, in Tucumcari, historic Route 66 town, the end is basically at the Chamber of Commerce building there. Also, it's a city park. There's a couple of cool murals on the Chamber of Commerce wall. Must be looking the wrong way on the road. There's the park. Nice little park there. Tucumcari, US 66, cool mural. There's a different mural on the other side. Looks like it's been changed up from there. Okay, they were doing some maintenance. But this is old Route 66 through here, and there's all sorts of the classic Route 66 motels. And the one that's kind of been, bear with me a moment. I've lost my bearings. The Roadrunner Inn is has always been good to us, so I just want to make sure that y'all were aware of that. There it is. Roadrunner Lodge right there. Y'all have probably seen the congratulations, finishing, Rat Riders, good job sort of thing. Roadrunner, really, really nice motel, fantastic beds, just clean as a whistle. And David and his wife have been fantastic to us over the years. But you can see all the other places along the strip as well. So you have all the classic Route 66 type motels. We're not making anything official, ending accommodations. We'll let everyone choose their own. There is a KOA campground as well, and just your classic or your regular chain hotels and motels, Holiday Inn and Quality Inn and all those as well. So there's plenty of options to end in Tucumcari. Let me check my emails one more time. Let's see. All right, we have a bed booked. You're covered, Rich. And can you confirm something for holiday and or turkey? And that was from David. So for camping in both of those towns, you are in luck. Holiday and turkey both always have basically full-time accommodations available for tent campers in both of those towns. But both of them just take prior notice. Let me show you what those are real quick. Find my way, Vega, Canyon, Turkey. Okay. So Turkey always allows, but you just want to call ahead and let the police know you're going to be there. And if you know what your schedule is going to be that week, I will make those accommodations as well. But as you're leaving Turkey on the west end of town, there's a city park here. It's right behind the Bob Wills Monument. You go down this dirt road, and there's a city park right in here. And if I remember correctly, I'm working from memory, but I'm 99% sure this is true. There are RV hookups in here as well. So there's electricity and water. Yep, there they are right there. There's the RV hookups. So that's Turkey. Those are always there. Camping is always available in Turkey, west end of town. And then in Holiday, scroll back a little bit, find Holiday. Holidays over here. There we go. This campground here, Stonewall Jackson Park, that's always available, but you just need to call the police department and let them know ahead of time. You can call them that day. You can probably call them as you're rolling into town. They just want to know when somebody's there. There are back in here in this segment back here. I doubt if there's a street. Oh, there is street view there. Excellent. So some picnic tables and covered area there. I will let you know there are holes in the roofs of the picnic tables. There's another pavilion here by the ball fields. It maybe looks like something out of Texas Chainring Massacre at a glance, but I'll be honest with you, it doesn't look like anyone ever goes there, sort of thing. You would have it to yourself. I would have no problem overnighting here. I mean, I'd probably prefer somebody else for staying with me, but that would be really anywhere. So Stonewall Jackson campground at Stonewall Jackson Park, that's always available, and you can go further back in here. And I don't think Lynn and I saw all this. I don't remember seeing those bigger buildings, but maybe we did. I think it was flooded when we went back there, and this might have been underwater. Can't remember exactly. So in Holiday, there's always Stonewall Jackson. You just call the police department in Holiday. And there are a few other odds and ends that maybe with prior arrangement that you may be able. They have a rails to trail. This is a linear park here. It's not the net, but kind of the same idea. And I think there's an actual bike trail that starts here. And the town of Holiday itself doesn't have any jurisdiction over this. So they've told us in the past, like right here in front of the water tower, people could set up a tent there if they wanted to, if you don't want to go all the way to Stonewall Jackson. But again, just call the police department ahead of time and let them know you plan to be there overnight, sort of thing. So hopefully that answered your questions there, David. Looks like maybe another email came through. Let me check. All right. New loop at Sanhone and Russell's. Rich Walschmidt has a question about that. And yes, we did change this up a little bit. And I'll show you all this. And this will also get me back to Tucumcari because I don't know if we ever went over final mileage on that last day. Doop, 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 doop. Okay. So what we've always done in the past, here's the Russell's truck stop after leaving Vega. So you come down the Cap Rock here, go through Glen Rio, and this is really cool stuff. I mean, this is the old ghost town Route 66 from Glen Rio to the Russell's truck stop. Mostly gravel road and just some old abandoned Route 66 stuff. It's one of my favorite segments. But you go down the Cap Rock here. You go up to Russell's because there's nowhere else to stop. And what we've always done is just doubled back and then come back up the Cap Rock here. Well, this year we've changed it up a little bit. You go up to Russell's and then you take, it looks like the access road, but it's really not. It's a county road. See if we can see it from the interstate though. See, it's a dirt county road that parallels the interstate there. And so instead of just doing an out and back, we just give you all a little bit of something different. But that said, this little section of old Route 66 through here is kind of neat. So I wanted y'all to see that. And there's a tunnel that goes under the interstate there. So I mean, we're still ending up at right at 1,000 miles, give or take a mile. And then just you do a loop here, and then you go back up the Cap Rock, back down the Cap Rock one more time, and into San Juan. And there's a city park in San Juan. Obviously, you're pretty close to Tucumcari, but just if you run out of time, you can camp there, and there's a 24-hour gas station and things like that. So check my emails one more time. All right. And then we'll go back to Tucumcari and verify, because I don't think I went over this before. Final mileage on last day from Vega to Tucumcari. That is also 139 miles. So I believe Denison to Henrietta is 139 miles, and Vega to Tucumcari is 139 miles. But I guarantee you the Vega to Tucumcari 139 miles will be tougher than the Denison to Henrietta 139 miles. So hopefully I covered all the high points that help people that are on the fence about the stage race or semi-supported options that are following those stage race segments. Let me just do one more quick mileage check with y'all and the stops. All right, so Texarkana to New Boston on Friday at your own schedule is 43 miles. Saturday, New Boston to Paris. Where did Paris go? Clarksville. New Boston to Paris. 106 miles on Saturday. Sunday, Paris to Denison. 122 miles. Monday, Denison to Henrietta. 139 miles. That's Monday in Henrietta, 139 miles. Tuesday, Henrietta to Vernon. 125 miles. Wednesday, Vernon to Childress. 103 miles. Thursday, Childress to Silverton. Thursday, Childress to Silverton is 101 miles. Friday, Silverton to Vega, 122 miles. And then Saturday, Vega to Tucumcari, 139 miles. So that is our wrap up on the stage race segments, the semi-supported segments. And again, many of those overnight segments are available to all riders. Not all of them, but many of them are. But you do have to be on the same schedule as the stage racers for those tent accommodations to be available. Again, we'll have another overview in the next week or two, specifically going over the mini rat and the mini rat supported and guided options, as well as the tiny rat. If you have other questions along the way, anything that's rat related, feel free to comment on this video or send me emails to spinistry@gmail.com. If we have to go in depth on anything else specifically, we're happy to do that. But we definitely want to try to, I know people had questions on the stage race and the segments and the semi-supported, so we wanted to get that out there, hopefully clear up any remaining confusion along those lines. We'd really like to see some more stage racers out there, to be honest with you. It not for us to get more business per se, but just to fill out the field a little bit, make sure there's some good competition. But here's what I was really looking for from the stage racers and hoping for, and we're still hoping for it. Stage racers are allowed to have support crews. So stage racers, you can go out there and you can race just, segment beginning to end, not worry about carrying gear. You'll be able to have support crews meet you in the towns along the way, help you reload and things like that. If there are support crews, though, what that gives us some flexibility. If other riders have issues, it frees me up to maybe help people out, or support crews that are out there can help others out along the way. And what we'd really like is for support crews that are maybe able to bring another rider back from Tucumcari as well. So if you're a stage racer and you have support crew, the ideal situation is a two-person team with a support person that's driving from segment to segment, and then they've got room in the vehicle for somebody else to bring back with them at the end from Tucumcari as well. So that's why we're really encouraging the team riders and the support crews and things like that, is to help everybody else out in the long run. So along those lines, if there are some teams that are out there that are looking at doing the stage race with a support person, we'll make a special deal. If you have if you're a two-person team or a three-person team and a support driver, but you have room to bring somebody back from Tucumcari with you as well, because we're keeping everybody on the same schedule, so everybody's in the same window for coming back. If you're a team that can help out other riders along that way, reach out to me. We'll make you some sort of team deal that makes it worth your while. And quite frankly, we think that's the best way to race the stage race to begin with, is to have a support person, and ideally another teammate as well. So that's going to do it for today. Thanks for joining us. Definitely feel free to make any comments on the video. I'll address them when things finish up here, or send me emails to spinistry@gmail.com. And if we need to do any other rat specific videos, we'll do those as well. Again, just send me emails on that, and we just want to make sure to share the information everyone needs. All right. Good night, everybody. I'm going to shut it down now.